The early May days started out promising, with negligible breeze and just a slight chill in the air, although the cloudless sky was a little concerning because I was hoping for topwater action and knew some clouds or haze would help make that work. Nevertheless, I started with my favorite 9-inch Slug-Go and went to work. It took a lot longer to get one to eat it than I was expecting it to, but I finally did catch one drifting the lure through a stretch of heavy surface disturbance created by some sizable bottom obstructions.
Not much of a fish, but it's a fish.
Unless it's a huge fish, you end up fighting the current more than the fish in a fast, shallow stretch like this. This was no big fish, just a run-of-the-mill slot fish in training, but it used the current to its full advantage and felt a lot bigger than it was. With no more action forthcoming in the skinny fast water, I moved to some notably slower water and switched to a large soft swim bait. Fishing the 7.5-inch swimfish unweighted, I used a medium slow steady retrieve to get the lure to work as a soft wake bait, with the tail action and body roll providing the illusion of life and a bit of surface disturbance while providing an easier target than the twitching and darting action of the Slug-Go. It's a technique I don't use often because I only feel confident with it when the surface is nearly glass smooth, and that's not something I get to see all that frequently.
They're not hooked very well. Unweighted swim bait.
After catching one more fishing my unweighted swim bait as a wake bait, I moved downriver, thoroughly checking my best month of May spots along the way, with nothing to show for my efforts. By the time I'd exhausted the spots I'd been planning on fishing, the calm conditions had given way to a steady breeze out of the northwest. Finally, I spotted a decent bunch of fish at the base of a drop-off and grabbed a finesse fish on a 1/2-ounce jig head to see what I could tempt out of the school. Caught 3 pretty quickly, but I get enough jig and plastic fishing for schoolie-sized stripers all winter long, and that's definitely not what I was out here for today. If the fish were bigger, I might have sat on them for a while longer, but they weren't. I had to decide now, head farther south or retrace my steps. It was still early, so I decided to check farther south. If I'd known how much nastier the conditions were going to get, I probably would have gone the other way. It's not like the conditions got dangerous nasty, more like uncomfortable, bouncy, and difficult to fish nasty. 4 miles and 6 stops to fish amounted to 1 fish on a jerkbait. It wasn't too long before I was headed north again. Next stop produced 3, all on the jerkbait. But the dark clouds that had been to my south when I was trying to fish farther downriver caught up to me pretty quickly and brought the stiff wind and chillier air temps with them. I might have been sitting on the best bite of the day, but it wasn't that good, and I headed farther north. Made a few quick stops along the way, but didn't get a good vibe about any of them, and decided that I needed to get back north of Sunnyside again for my last half hour or so of fishing. Pulled up to one of the stops that I'd fished through on the way downriver without so much as a sniff, and picked up the 9-inch Slug-Go that hadn't gotten a look from a fish since my first catch of the day. 2 casts in, I got a roll. No contact made, but at least I'd raised a good one. A short time later, I hooked up. Not a great big one, but enough of a fish to keep me on the water, trying for another one for about 20 minutes longer than I'd planned. I'd run a lot more gas through the Yamaha than I'd anticipated doing, and saw a whole lot more of the river than I intended to. Did a lot of experimenting, and went through a 4 or 5 technique rotation at most of those spots. Caught 2 on the Slug-Go, 4 on the Novell 120, 2 waking that big swim bait across the surface, and 3 on the jig and plastic. A lot of work for 11 fish, and only 1 slot fish among the 11. Thanks for watching.